We are indirect tax specialists. We are GST, HST specialists, and it was an opportunity for the senior delegation of ministers from India, from both the state and federal level, for an opportunity to come and for us to share the Canadian tax system with them and to explain the similarities and the challenges that Canada had in introducing our value-added tax, and in consideration of what India is facing with their very complex tax system and looking towards tax simplification. What's very interesting between the Canadian system and India very much looks like Canada a number of years back, because we had a number of different taxes and we had a number of barriers to trade between our provinces. And in India, there is taxation of goods at the state level, taxation of services at the federal level, and then there is interstate sales tax, which actually is a detriment to interstate trade. Canada, we went through the same process back in the 1960s and 1970s, and ultimately landed on a value-added tax which is unique in the world, in that we have one central administration collecting both federal and provincial taxes, and have encouraged international trade and interprovincial trade between the jurisdictions.
The ministers asked us a lot of good questions, and they were interested to get our experience and the problems that we faced in helping to bring in the Canadian value-added tax. We were glad to provide some information.
Okay, I'm very proud to be what I am, Indo-Canadian, and as you know, I am the first Indo-Canadian female senator to be chosen in 150 years in Canada. I feel very honored and proud. I like to tell about my people that whosoever I am, I'm very proud to be Indo-Canadians, and I see as Canada continue to grow, its face will continue to change, and I'm the perfect example of that, being chosen as a senator. It is very, I did over a number of years, all those work, looking after the patient, looking for the different type of charities and all that, and this will lead to such a huge honor for me to lead to be senator. I would say my dream have gone beyond what I could ever thought about that it would be. So I would like to advise my fellow Canadians and Indians that never be afraid to dream, because if you believe and work hard, your dream will come true. And this is what I'm going to give advice. Never give up. Continue to work. Just see as Canada itself, whether it equally you have opportunity here to serve whatever the race, religion, whether you are Hindu, you are Muslims, Sikhs or Christian. We come here in Canada to such a great country, and we have choice to show our personality. We have freedom to do these things. So I would say I'm very proud to be an Indian, but I'm very proud to be a Canadian as well. So India is my birthplace, but Canada is my homeland.
Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce invited me. They are hosting a delegation from India. It's the finance minister of India and some of the finance ministers from state. They're studying the effects of GST. They want to study how the GST can benefit Indian economy, and they are here. And I'm just here on the invitation of Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, meet and greet the delegation. We want to welcome them to Canada. It's great to see delegations interacting with India and Canada. India is one of the greatest partners of Canada, and we are negotiating trade with India, and we are very proud that Prime Minister Harper and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh have a very good relationship with each other, and they have set up a goal to sign the trade agreement by 2013.
Do you have any suggestion? How can we promote trade between these two countries?
Oh, trade, since Prime Minister Harper took office, the trade's been increasing every year, and we value India as a growing economy, as one of the friendly trading partners. That's why we're negotiating a trade deal with India. And it's up to $6 billion. It's increased by 43%. And we improve on trade with India every year. And hopefully we will sign the trade agreement by 2013.
By the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, or Iccc as we are popularly known, with the support of the Consulate General of India in Toronto. My name is Jagdish Bajaj. I'm the Vice President and Director, Programs and Events with the Iccc, and I have the honor of navigating us through this evening today. I see a lot of happy faces, some tired faces from the long travels from India. This tells me that you've all had an enjoyable grand reception this evening and the networking opportunity that we had a while ago. We will now commence the formal part of this evening. Let me assure you that we will keep this part brief, relevant, and interesting. The delegation is here to study the Canadian experience in the implementation of the goods and services tax regime. Honorable Sushil Kumar Modi, Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, is the leader of this delegation, and I am told that his flight has arrived and he's en route from the airport, which is why we got off to a slightly late start, for which I apologize. The delegation comprises senior political and administrative decision makers, including Honorable Dr. A.K. Walia, Delhi's Minister for Health, Family Welfare, Revenue, Urban Development, Irrigation and Flood Control. Thank you, sir. Honorable Kiran Chaudhary, Haryana's Minister for Excise and Taxation. Welcome to you. Honorable A.R. Rathir, Jammu and Kashmir's Minister of Finance and Ladakh Affairs. Good evening to you, sir. It was nice chatting with you earlier outside. Honorable Raghavji, Madhya Pradesh's Minister for Finance and Commercial Tax. Good evening. Honorable Zodin Luanga, Mizoram's Minister for Taxation. A warm welcome to you, sir. Honorable Prasanna Acharya, Odisha's Minister for Finance and Public Enterprises. Welcome. Honorable Parminder Singh Dinsa, Punjab's Minister for Finance. Good evening to you. Honorable Shruti Chaudhary, Member of India's Lok Sabha. Good evening. In addition to these eminent leaders, the delegation also comprises senior administrators of the ranks of principal secretaries, commissioners of taxes, secretaries, joint secretaries, directors, and senior administrative officers from India. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of the ICCC, we wish you all success on your visit to Canada. I certainly hope that you found a lot of value in the roundtable that occurred shortly before this evening's reception began. I also welcome our members, guests, and dignitaries from Canada. We are honored to have with us Honorable Harinder Thakur, Ontario's Minister for Government Services. Thank you, sir. Who is representing the province's Premier, Honorable Dalton McGuinty. Welcome, sir. Honorable Bal Gosal, Canada's Minister of State for Sports. Good evening to you. Honorable Dr. Asha Seth, Senator, Senate of Canada. Welcome. Madam Preeti Saran, Consul General of India in Toronto. Good evening. Thank you all for being here this evening. The ICCC is a 35-year-old institution with the twin mandates of promoting Canada-India relations and promoting the interests of Indians in Canada. And there is nobody here who can talk about this better than Naval Bajaj, the president of ICCC. Naval is a young entrepreneur who has taken charge of the chamber a couple of months ago. Friends, please join me in welcoming Naval Bajaj.
Welcome, friends. On the behalf of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, I welcome our guest from India to this evening business reception and dinner. It is my honor to welcome CM Sushil Kumar Modi, who is the leader of the delegation, and he's on the way from the airport to here, so we'll be seeing him shortly. He's the head of the delegation of the Empowered Committee of the State Finance Ministers from India. I warmly welcome all the members of the delegation who are from the different states of India. Our chamber is honored to host all of you at this reception. Our chamber is the oldest business organization of the Indo-Canadian in Canada, with the wide reach into the million-strong Indian diaspora. On this special occasion, I want to acknowledge the presence of our Canadian leaders. Our chamber relies upon them to achieve its mandate. Honorable Harinder Thakur, the Minister of Government Services, Ontario, is representing Honorable Dalton McGuinty, the Premier of Ontario. Minister Thakur is a veteran leader of our community and a strong supporter of our chamber. I also welcome Honorable Bal Gosal, Minister of State for Sports from the federal side, and I thank Senator Asha Seth for her presence here. Dr. Seth is the first Indo-Canadian woman to be nominated to the Senate of Canada. They have always stood by the chamber in promoting its cause of a more India-focused Canada. Friends, I express our chamber's sincere gratitude to India's Consul General in Toronto, Madam Preeti Saran, and her colleagues from the consulate. This reception has become possible because of the sustained work by the consulate during the last couple of months. I acknowledge the presence of my colleagues on the board who are here with us today. All of us volunteer our time for the chamber. Our friends from the media play an important role in spreading the good word of our good deeds, and we depend upon their support. A special welcome to all our friends from the media. Most important of all, I welcome our chamber sponsors. our sponsors share our vision and help us shape our programs to comprehensively enable to fulfill our mandate to our members and to our stakeholders. Friends, it's significant that such a large delegation of the Indian decision makers have come to Canada. For us at the Chamber, this is evidence of the growing closeness between Canada and India. Since Canada and India rediscovered each other 3 years ago, bilateral relations have moved rapidly forward on all the fronts. The reciprocal visits of the respective foreign ministers, SM Krishna on John Baird, recently, yes, yet another of the main significant steps that have been taken in the direction of consolidation of relations. The scope of the bilateral relations has only just begun to unfold and has validated our Chamber's unstinted efforts over the past 3.5 decades to enhance the Canada-India ties. Friends, in addition to fostering the bilateral ties, our Chamber's other mandate is to create the business and the professional opportunities for our members. Our members provide key inputs to the governments both here in India and that help in the policy formulations. For instance, on the subject of the tax reforms, our Chamber played an important role during the Ontario's transition to the harmonized sales tax. We conducted 4 workshops with the senior government officials, including the then Minister John Wilkinson and the former parliamentary assistant Yasin Naqvi, where our members provided crucial inputs to the political reforms. And I'm honored to say that we have today with us as one of the expert panelists, former Minister John Wilkinson. So I really appreciate his presence today. Now, allow me to give a brief background about our guests from India and their mission. In 2000, the Indian Ministry of Finance constituted an empowered committee of the state finance ministers for introducing the reforms in the state level taxes. In conclusion, with the Government of India, this committee has been tasked with preparing a roadmap for the introduction of the goods and the service tax in India. The committee is in Canada, to study the implementation of GST. And among other things, it will specifically study the Canadian IT system that tracks the inter-province movement of the goods and services. Reforms in taxes are perennial requirement because as the business processes change, tax instrument also requires to be modified. There are many aspects to these reforms because several players are involved in the process. So we had a good panelist, and during this roundtable, I hope and I am very sure that our Indian delegates found some good and important information. During the roundtable, some of the good key points came out, and just to wrap it up and just to give a short about the roundtable, one of the things which our experts believed on the roundtable, that when it comes to the Canadian tax structure, what is today, which includes the GST, which includes for some of the province, the HST, that this tax structure is good and it's working well for the businesses in Canada. It's working for overall as a mass. It's helping Canada to bring the foreign investment. And when the entire GST was introduced in the Canadian system, that just turned around the economy of Canada. And today what we see Canada in one of the portion of the strong economy is having a very good tax structure, and which is also very simplified for the businesses, for the people who are involved, as well as at the provincial level. So I think that information was well given to our delegates, and I think tax is such a thing that we can keep on speaking about the entire days and days, and it never finishes. And we can see that, you know, it took a long time in Canada to implement some of the taxes. We can see now India is going through the same phase, and it's taking some time to implement that. But I think overall, it's something which is very important for any economy in the world. At the end, I would like to say that we at the Chamber hope that this mission is successful for our visiting delegates. Let me conclude on a lighter note by quoting what the famous scientist Albert Einstein had to say about the taxes. He said, and I quote, "This is too difficult for a mathematician. It takes a philosopher." Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Naval. Indeed, taxation is not an easy subject for everyone. And if someone like Einstein could get confused, what chance does a mere mortal like me have in understanding the complexities and intricacies of the subject? But thankfully, we have in this ballroom many, many people who are acknowledged experts in the field of taxation and public finances, so thank God for that. Friends, I now have the honor to invite Honorable Bal Gosal, Canada's Minister of State for Sports, to share his views with us. Minister Gosal is a strong supporter of our chamber and has played a pivotal role in improving relations between our two countries. Please join me in welcoming Minister Gosal.
First of all, I want to thank Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors for inviting me here today. And would also like to extend a warm welcome to the Indian delegation here to study the possibility of implementing GST in India. Minister Tucker, Preeti Sernzi, and my colleague from Canada's Parliament, Asha Seth. It's great to see you. Asha's every function I go to, she's always at those functions. You must have a busy summer. Get ready for the work starting Monday now. Real work. Thank you again. Actually, as we speak, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, John Baird, is in India right now. He had discussed bilateral relations, regional and global issues affecting both India and Canada. India is an important partner for Canada in the areas of food and energy, security, education, and infrastructure development. When speaking to the Indian ministerial officials, Minister Baird emphasized the importance of increasing our trade and people-to-people links with India. As we know that Prime Minister Harper and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh have set a very, I would say, productive goal of achieving trade deal with India in 2013. And we were negotiating, and fifth round of negotiations are completed, and we're ready for the sixth round right now. Canada and India's relationship is based on shared values of democracy, pluralism, and mutual interest. This level of engagement is deepening and broadening bilateral relations across a wide range of sectors such as education, energy, science and technology, culture, agriculture, and the environment. The GST, as our delegation is here to study, is broad-based value-added tax on consumption in Canada. Taxing is a broad base of goods and services rather than excluding certain items from the GST, allows the tax to be set at a relatively low rate, while still ensuring an adequate level of revenue. From an economic efficiency point of view, it is a general principle that value-added taxes should apply to the widest possible range of goods and services consumed in Canada. Also, at the same time, tax relief is a priority for our Conservative government and is an essential part of Canada's economic action plan to stimulate the economy. Lowering the GST from 7 to 5% is only one element of our tax relief plan. All Canadians, even those who do not earn enough to pay personal income tax, are benefiting from the 2% point reduction in the GST rate. For consumers, savings from our Conservative government's GST rate cuts amount to approximately $12 billion annually. The GST credit has proven to be an effective means of targeting and delivering tax relief, particularly to low-income families. Despite the reduction in the rate of GST to 5%, the GST credit has maintained at existing levels. Maintaining the GST credit level even through the GST rate has been reduced translates into more than $1.1 billion of benefits for low and modest income Canadians annually. Canada-India relations have a long and proud history, and we are committed to building our already strong ties with India to create a partnership that will lead to new opportunities and stronger economies in both countries. That is what Prime Minister Harper and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh have committed to at every meetings, and we are aggressively pursuing a trade deal with India. Once again, I want to welcome all the delegates to Canada. Hope you enjoy the rest of your stay, and if you get a chance to come to Parliament, we will be back starting Monday, and we're more than happy to welcome you to Ottawa as well. Enjoy the evening. Thank you very much.
Political stalwart, a leader with mass following and respect among our Indian community in Canada. Yes, I'm talking about the inimitable Honorable Harinder Thakur, Minister for Government Services in Ontario. Minister Thakur is a veteran leader and has held ministerial positions in the Ontario government since 2003. Today, he is representing our province's Premier, Honorable Dalton McGuinty. Please join me in welcoming Minister Thakur.
Ministers, Member of Parliament, colleagues, and distinguished guests, it is a real pleasure for me to be here tonight and bring greetings on behalf of the Premier of Ontario. But I want to say one thing. I think when you get a good introduction, it's always downfall from there on. I want to start by welcoming all the Indian delegates to our beautiful province of Ontario and our beautiful city. I hope you are enjoying it. We are very privileged to have you here and share some of our experiences with you as well. I have met some of you even before. Mr. Bali, I met maybe 5-6 years ago. So it is nice to see you again here. It was also nice to have you in the legislature this morning as well. I hope you enjoyed the dialogue that we were having there as well. I want to tell you that I came to Canada in 1974, so it has been a long time. But I want to say congratulations to all of you for the wonderful job you are doing in India. You have made us proud with your growth and the remarkable progress that you have made in India. So we are very, very proud of you. It is indeed a proud moment for me as well to see the level of collaboration between my country of birth and the province I now call home. In 2007, I had the privilege to accompany our Premier to India, and he has become a big fan of Bollywood. And actually, we had two Bonnie Kapoor and his wife, Sri Devi Kapoor, came to meet the Premier today as well. I was actually going to talk a little bit about the HST, but I'm going to maybe just talk about what we have actually accomplished out of the HST. John Wilkinson, my colleague from the last Parliament, actually he was responsible for the implementation of the HST. And I used to say to the Premier, finally, you got it right, you named it after me. But let me tell you, actually, the HST, I mean, in the all levels of government, whether it's the provincial government, federal government, or all levels of government, I think it is our duty and a privilege to serve the people of the constituencies that we serve. But it also becomes our duty to make sure that we create the right environment for the business to succeed. And I think the HST was a step in that direction. So the question is, did we succeed in that or not? I think one of the objectives always becomes is the revenue you generate out of that. Under the old system, we used to generate roughly about $17.8 billion worth of revenue from the retail sales tax. Now, actually, it is maybe 15% up compared to that. And most of that growth actually came from, but I will say, the economy that, or the people who were not really paying the taxes before, right? So underground economy contributed largely to that extent. The other issue was to make the environment more competitive for the business to succeed so we can attract the investment to Ontario. We have become the third best destination in North America to attract investment in Ontario. So I'm actually pleased to tell you that we are getting quite major investment from India as well. And just last month, I had the privilege to work with the Aditya and Birla Group, and they have acquired the largest forestry firm in North Ontario that we owned, right? So they're going to make about $250 million investment in there. We have 3 steel firms in Ontario. 2 of them actually are owned by Indians. So they have made major investment, and we are very proud of that investment. So in a way, we have succeeded in doing what we actually set to do. The third the point that I would like to make is, we all know that all countries, India, China, Europe, and Canada, we all gone through some very tough times since 2008. Like India, we also lost jobs. And what I wanted to say to you is in Ontario, since the recession, we recovered 140% of the jobs that were lost in the recession. So we are very proud of that fact as well as. So when the HST is fully phased in, we will see the removal of about $4.6 billion a year in embedded taxes that were paid by the businesses before. And in addition to that, the HST also is reducing the paperwork costs for businesses by more than $500 million each year, as businesses will now only be required to file 1 tax return. In addition, they will also be saving about $150 million, because we are now filing 1 tax return. So this has significantly improved Ontario's attractiveness as a location for business investment. And as I said before, we have become the 3rd best destination in there. So some of the estimates, maybe my colleague Wilkinson shared with you, some of the predictions that were made when we actually implemented the HST was that there will be 591,000 new jobs created, there will be about $47 billion worth of new capital investment will come, and there will be increased annual income of up to 8.8. I think we are well on our way to do that. So I think overall, I will say it has helped businesses, it has helped us to create the right environment, and it has helped us to succeed. I think what we want to tell you today is that in Canada, Mr. Gosal said it already, I would like to say Ontario is open for business. We want to do a bilateral trade. And the bilateral trade can be any area. We are expert in mining in Ontario. We have excellent, food industry as well. We produce more automotives than the Detroit combined together. So in all those areas, we are looking for cooperation both ways. To me, trade doesn't go one way, it goes both ways. So even though we have made aggressive targets as set by the 2 prime ministers, but I think we have a long way to go still to meet those targets. So we look forward to working with you, and I really want to say congratulations and thank you for coming here. We look forward to working with you, and it's always nice to see all of you, and keep up the good work that you're doing there. Thank you.
Friends, I'm sure you're enjoying the evening so far. As we get into the flow of this evening, I am privileged to invite our next speaker, the Consul General of India in Toronto, Madam Preeti Saran. Friends, our Consul General has been an energy source in our efforts to boost Canada-India relations. Her contribution to improving our ties during her tenure is second to none. Kindly join me in welcoming Consul General Preeti Saran.
Thank you, Naval, and the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce for organizing a very fruitful discussion at a roundtable held earlier this evening and for hosting this wonderful dinner in honor of the Empowered Committee of the State Finance Ministers from India. The Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce is our steadfast partner in promoting bilateral trade between India and Canada. We deeply value their relationship and the contribution that they have made in building bridges between India and Canada. I take this opportunity to thank Federal Minister Honorable Bal Gosal, Ontario Minister Honorable Harinder Thakkar, and Senator Asha Seth, along with the other distinguished dignitaries from Canada, for being present here today. Canadians of Indian descent have achieved great success in Canada. We in India take great pride in your achievements, and I thank all of the distinguished members of the Indian diaspora present here today for the great work that they do in forging closer ties between our two countries. We feel honored to welcome the distinguished Indian delegation of the Empowered Committee of the State Finance Ministers, led by Shri Sushil Modi, Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, who is the chairman of the Empowered Committee. I have just received information that he has arrived, and in fact, he's on his way. So we hope that as the evening progresses, he would join us soon. As you heard from Naval and the RMC, that our Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, who's the leader of the delegation, is accompanied, and you have been introduced to the distinguished 7 ministers of our 7 states, representing Delhi, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, Odisha, and Punjab, and senior officers from the Government of India and 14 states of India. You've also heard that the Empowered Committee was constituted in 2000 for introducing reforms in the state-level taxes. They are now in the process of studying the possibilities of introducing the goods and services tax in India, and in that connection, this is the visit that is taking place. Dear friends, you know that we share much in common with Canada, including a common colonial heritage, a plural, secular, democratic framework, and a federal structure of governance. Like India, Canada levies both federal and provincial goods and services taxes on the same transaction. And that is what has brought our distinguished delegation from India to visit Canada, to study the Canadian model, to learn from the Canadian experience the complexities of interstate trade and taxation. The delegation will also be visiting Ottawa and Vancouver. We are indeed grateful to the Government of Canada, to the Government of Ontario, and other stakeholders, including the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, for organizing meaningful discussions for the Indian delegation, which contributes not just to a better understanding of the taxation system, but is in fact yet another example of how we learn from each other in a mutually beneficial relationship. So I thank you all, and long live India-Canada friendship. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It has been an enjoyable evening thus far, and we have the honor and privilege of Honorable Sushil Kumar Modi in our midst. So I would like to request you to kindly have your seat, and I would like to request Naval Bajaj, President of ICCC, to come onto the stage to introduce our special guest for this evening.
Thank you, Jagdish, again. You know, it's my honor and privilege to welcome Honorable Sushil Kumar Modi, the Deputy Chief Minister of State of Bihar. You know, now I would like to invite the head of the delegation of the Empowered Committee of the State Finance Ministers from India, Honorable Sushil Kumar Modi, who is a Deputy Chief Minister of the Bihar, to address the gathering. Honorable Deputy Chief Minister Modi has had a long and a distinguished political career, rising from the ranks to occupy the senior position both in his political party, the BJP, and in the state hierarchy. Please join me in welcoming Honorable Sushil Kumar Modi.
Honorable Sri Bal Gosal ji, Federal Minister of State for Sports, Honorable Sri Harinder Thakkar ji, Minister for Government Services of Ontario, Senator Asha Seth ji, Mr. Naval Bajaj, President Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, other distinguished guests of this chamber, my friends from Empowered Committee of State Finance Ministers from India. Friends, first of all, I apologize for the delay because I'm coming from Beijing. I had been there to attend a World Economic Forum meeting in which our British Columbia Premier was also there. And there was a large contingent from Canada was also attend that meeting. So after a 12-hour flight, I'm in the midst of this dinner. But I will not take much time because I know it is how difficult to speak after dinner. Friends, as you all know, what is the purpose of the visit of this Empowered Committee? Because India has also decided to go for goods and service tax. And there is a constitutional amendment bill pending with the parliament. So this delegation has come to visit Canada because there are many similarities between India and Canada. Because the type of the government, the federal type of government which is in India, the same type of government is in Canada also. And there are different type of VAT system or GST system in different states of Canada. I had been earlier also about 5 years back, and there was also at that time they were meeting with the Canadian Council members. So friends, just I would like to speak for 2 more minutes. I had been to China, and the entire world is passing through a very difficult financial crisis phase. The European debt crisis and the global slowdown has affected not only India, but even a country like China. And yesterday when I was in China, their exports have gone down, their imports have also come down, and for the first time in the last 8 quarters, the growth rate of China has also gone down for the first time. So, because the entire global economy is integrated, so we are facing such issues also in India. But I would like to tell one thing, that the Asian countries are on a more strong foothold. Their fundamentals are more strong than the European countries. At least India is not facing the debt crisis which the European Union countries are facing. Though we are facing a crisis of fiscal deficit, current account deficit, inflation, and the growth rate also has been affected. Our exports have also been affected by this economic slowdown and the European debt crisis. But as I said that the fundamentals are very strong. So in spite of this economic slowdown, I personally feel that India is strong enough to come out of this global crisis. So friends, without taking much of your time, my minister colleagues, Mr. Walia Sahab, Kiran Chaudhary ji, Prasun Acharya ji, Dhindsa Sahab, Rather Sahab, all my member colleagues are here, and we will be here for another 8 or 9 days. So we will be visiting from Toronto to Ottawa, and then to Vancouver. So these 3 places we are going to visit, and basically we want to study because we want to learn from the mistakes which have been committed by the other states. Because here in GST is from the 1991, the GST is there in Canada. So what are the failures? What are the lessons you have learned from GST? So those failures, those achievements can guide us in implementing GST in India. So मित्रों, मैं फिर से एक बार और आप सभी लोगों का और अपने एम्पावर्ड कमेटी के ओर से आपका स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं, और इस शानदार डिनर के लिए मैं यहां के चेंबर को अपनी ओर से हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। धन्यवाद। मैं मिस्टर नवल बजाज से आग्रह करूंगा कि वो मंच पर आएँ, तो मैं एम्पावर्ड कमेटी की ओर से उनको एक छोटी सी भेंट अपनी ओर से देना चाहूँगा।
Sir, on behalf of the ICCC, Ontario and Canada, I would like to welcome you and thank you for being our guest this evening. Friends, as we draw this evening to a close, I now invite Sanjay Makkar, Vice President and Director Affinity Programs of the ICCC, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Hello friends, and namaskar to all our distinguished special guests all the way from India. As Jagdish mentioned, I'm Sanjay Makkar. I'm the Vice President and Director Affinity Programs for Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. Before we wind up, I would like to just pass on some acknowledgements, which are very important and due. Won't be a fun part, but we have to finish thanking some of the very important and key people around in this room. Let me begin by thanking our delegation from India. We hope you'll be able to achieve your goals during your visit to Canada. I just like to have a good applause for our delegations who came all the way from India. It was an honor and privilege for our chamber to host all of you this evening. I would also like to thank our leaders from Canada. Your constant support nourishes us to grow and stay focused in achieving our mandate. Without all of you, especially Minister Thakkar, Minister Balgasol, the Senator of State, it would not be possible for our chamber to become a true representative of Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce and its diaspora. And let me inform our friends from India that with over 1,500 members, we are the largest Indo-Canadian business organizations of Canada. We thank the Consul General Priti Saran and the other members of Diplomatic Corps from the Consulate General of India in Toronto for their continued and sustained support in making this evening a very successful evening for us. Our chamber is dependent upon the support of our sponsors, and we have always had a strong support from our sponsors to meet our objectives. On behalf of our chamber, I warmly acknowledge the presence of our sponsors and the unstinted backing we've got from them. Besides the sponsor, we also depend on our stakeholders and members for the success of our operations. While it is important to succeed in our endeavors, what is also important is that the success reaches our constituents, and the media plays an important role in this. We thank the media representatives who are here and hope that the proceedings of this evening were interesting enough for all of you to prominently cover in your respective media outlets. I would be remiss in my duties if I don't acknowledge the presence of eminent personalities from the Canada-India space and the field of taxations who participated in the roundtable on taxations earlier this evening. Your presence and your contribution made this a truly stellar evening. Our members are our mainstay, our reasons for existence, and we are always thankful to them. I want to put on record their contribution to making this evening a success by way of tickets and table sales. I hope you had your money's worth. Finally, before we bring the evening to close, let me also acknowledge the support we received from the Delta Chelsea Hotel. I think the food was great and the service was fantastic. So I just want to give them a round of applause for their continued support. So friends, of course, our special photographer, and I don't know how many years, Bashir Nasser has been supporting us, this chamber. Thank you so much for him, and also the staff of all the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, Mayank, Pawan, Tarun. And friends, thank you, farewell, and have a safe and happy stay while you're in Canada. Thank you.
Honorable Raghavji, Madhya Pradesh's Minister for Finance, has expressed a desire. Madam Preeti Saran, could we kindly have you on stage, please?